Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is David, Stock Talk David, checking back in. I know it's been a while. But you know me, man. I take a little hiatus every now and then. You know, I just have to do that every now and then. I may go lock in on something. Whether it's the gym, whether it's work, finance, portfolio. Sometimes I just got to step away for a second. But man, I'm back today. And I want to touch bases with you guys. I appreciate you guys for supporting, checking out the channel. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video. I really appreciate it. Uh, you know, leave a comment, leave feedbacks, and all that. That's it's very much appreciated. But here, I have a topic, man, that's been on my mind for a while now, and I just want to address it. So just bear with me. It's kind of off the top. I don't have any notes or anything like that. It's just a topic that I want to discuss, right? So here's the thing. Here's my question. Why do people hate InvestFest? Like seriously, why do people hate InvestFest? This event just recently happened. I don't know what year it is, but it's been going on for quite a few years now here in Atlanta. I've had a chance to attend two Invest Fest. I did not attend this year because I have some upcoming travel arrangements, quite a few actually, um, especially with my son being back in school. And I got to get to some games, man. So it's going to be a lot of traveling going on. But Invest Fest had over, I believe, 30,000 tickets sold for the recent event that just happened here in Atlanta. A financial conference, right? Where all these people come together to discuss finance, personal finance, investing, real estate, businesses, etc. Just a lot of different events and panels and, marketplaces and where people can launch their businesses. Just you don't see that anywhere else, right? And it's ran by people that look like this, right? They look like this. But you go online and you see people that look like this, be the main one spewing the hate towards Earn Your Leisure. And for years now, I just don't understand why you would have so much negativity towards a group of people who's trying to share knowledge to the people. Like, I grew up where we didn't have this knowledge. Nobody was telling us about finance. Nobody was telling us about investing, stocks, ETFs, whatever the case may be, strategies or whatever, however you want to, describe it. Real estate, passive income. I didn't see anywhere where you can go jumpstart your business. For us. After the event, even before the event, you come online, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and people have so much to say negative about InvestFest, about people trying to share information. They're not gatekeeping anything. They're trying to share information. Grifters and all these other terms that's used, right? I can tell who the real investors are and who's not, right? I can tell who's just making content for content, making negative content, because people love negativity, people love controversy and all this other type of stuff, right? So I just wonder, like, what's on your mind to have so much negative feedback, so much negative information to put out there about a group of people who's giving others an opportunity to share knowledge in the field where we clearly lack knowledge, right? And yes, we have the internet, we have books, whatever the case may be. But if they wasn't sharing the knowledge, you would be saying, why aren't they sharing the knowledge, right? And you have these weekly free shows that people can watch, not just EYL, but other content creators that you can watch. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to join any type of class or whatever the case may be. And I don't have a problem with people who do join, because they probably getting something out of that information, right? Just because you can't get something out of it don't mean the next person can't get something out of it. So why so much negative content about people that's trying to help other people? Your negative content ain't helping nobody, but your channel get views, because the same people, or I ain't gonna just say channel, or Instagram pages, or TikTok, or whatever, the only people that agree are not the real investors who not locked into the process. Like, you got to be like dedicated to the process, right? And I'm not just talking about trading, because I'm not really a trader. I'm a long-term investor. So I don't day trade. I don't do that stuff. It's not my thing. It's not my lane. But more power to the people that do day trade and who buy options and trying to make it that way. They're trying to learn and gain information, right? We know the numbers about people who day trading and all that. The majority of you are going to fail, right? That's just the reality of it. That's why it's not really my thing. I may dabble every now and then with a couple of dollars, but no, I'm a long-term investor. I buy and hold, been doing that for quite some time, right? And I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm a lot further along where I was when I started, for sure. And that's just from locking in. That's just from researching. That's from watching some of this information that y'all say that y'all keep putting out negative content on, right? It's other people who get a lot of information, a lot of help from that content. And like I said, you can tell who the real investors are and who are the people who just want to put out negative content just to put out negative content. And it's kind of, sometimes you just got to look in the mirror, because the same people who will say that, these people are grifters, turn around and say, oh, our community don't invest. We blow our money, blah, 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 blah. Same old riffraff rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? But when somebody comes along and want to help you learn to invest your money, whatever that may be, oh, they're grifters. Pick a side. Pick a side. First, you say our people don't know how to invest. We ready to do some BS with our money. And then when somebody comes along to try to help, oh, why are you listed in there? Da 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 da. Like, God damn. You ain't happy about nothing? You can't use the information for nothing? Yeah, you can research, you can go online or whatever the case may be, but why? What's the point of your negative content? What's the point of your negative attitude towards people who trying to help the culture? A lot of people changing their lives, man, with these events. They're building connections, they're building wealth. It's taking businesses to another level. It's jump-starting other businesses. You're getting in a room with like-minded people who's thinking the same way you're thinking, who want some of the same goals, dreams, aspirations that you're thinking, right? Which usually happens at a conference. But we got so much negativity. We got so much, hey, we want to see each other fail so bad that the minute somebody's putting out some positive information, that could possibly help, man, let me see how fast I can try to tear it down. Let me see what negative content I can go against. You know what I'm saying? And like, man, take a look in the mirror. Some of y'all hate y'allself. I'm talking about to the TikTokers, the Instagrammers, the YouTubers. You know, it don't, you know, I don't really care. Like, I'll tell you straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it's easy for me to go online, start a portfolio, do some research, because I be really locked in trying to, you know, I spend a lot of time, right? Just thinking and researching on how I want to build a portfolio. But somebody else may need some help. Somebody else may want to learn the day trade, or somebody else may not know how to build a portfolio. Some people don't even know what type of account to open up. Some people have a business, they want to take their business to the next level. Somebody want to connect with somebody else who may be thinking like them, you know, come together and grow. So why would you hate some type of a conference where you can gain all this information from? Seriously. Oh, EYL had this person on, EYL had that. Man, EYL had some people on that probably shouldn't have been on there. And y'all have more negative feedback to EYL and then you would have the person who's giving you the bad information. Because they'll go somewhere else and make other videos. Y'all won't say nothing. But here I am. I'm just giving an example. I want to put somebody else on and help somebody else out, right? That person feeds you something that may not be accurate, and you want to come at me, but the person who's giving you the bad information, oh, they cool, they good. No, they try to help somebody else. They may be trying to help you, and it could be 95% of the people who come on and give you great information. Oh, but that 5%. Oh no, we ain't listening to them. What? That's how you can tell like who know what they talking about, who don't know what they talking about. A lot of y'all who put out this negative information don't really know what you're talking about anyway. You just put on a good video, you do good display, yelling at the screen, saying some negative content, saying some negative stuff at a video, get some likes, get a couple of comments who may agree by some people who don't know about investing in the first place. And then, I got a lane. I'm going to run with this. I'm going to keep making this negative content. I'm going to keep throwing out these negative TikTok videos and these negative YouTube videos and negative Instagram videos because that's what they want to see. That's how I'm getting my views up. Man, that's a bunch of BS. And y'all doing more harm to the culture than EYL could ever do. Because you putting out negative information without putting anything out positive. Because one thing is you probably don't know yourself. Right? Yeah, you got to look in the mirror. A lot of y'all got to look in the mirror. But quick to make a video about us, when I say us, I'm talking about these people saying, oh, we blowing our money. We don't know how to do our money. Why are we listening to them? When you look in the mirror, you look like me. So stop the foolishness, man. Do something positive. What positive information do you have? What can you bring to the community? You're doing a good job at the negative stuff and trying to tear other people down. But what can you do? What positivity can you bring? What information can you bring? Probably not a lot. So that's just my rant. I'm sorry this is not a normal video, but this was just on my mind. I had to get it out there. And, that's just how I feel, man. Shout out to EYL. They put on a successful event. From what I heard, over 30,000 people in one venue. right, or one conference to try to give people like information that can help your family, your future. And man, some people may not take something out of, some people may not execute after the fact, you know, and that's fine. But you can't be mad at the people who gave you the information or the platform to be able to take your circumstance to the next level. That's ridiculous. And for the most part, the people who I know who have attended have gained something positive from it. It's always the people who've never attended, who don't have any intentions on going, and just want to wait to put out negative content, all stuff that they don't know anything about because you wasn't even in the room in the first place. But hey, this is what social media is all about, right? So at the end of the day, ask yourself, what are you doing to help somebody else? Is your helping somebody else only consist of tearing somebody else down? Or are you actually putting out positive information that could benefit somebody to help themselves out? So leave me some feedback. Let me know your thoughts. Now, I really appreciate you guys checking in. It's, this Stock Talk, David. I'm going to try to be more consistent with the videos, but I wanted to get this off my chest. And I will talk to you guys later.